Live. Says we're live. All right. So it says we are live. Hmm. Yeah, let's fix my microphone. Hopefully that won't fall over. Oh, I got a thumbs up already. Don't know from whom. Two people are on. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Hopefully you can hear me. Looks like my microphone's working. Disastrous effect. Howdy, sir. How are you? Figured I'd do a quick live, maybe like 30 minutes or so. Catch up, see how everybody's doing. Ohio Gear Guy, how are you? I am alive. I am. I know. It's funny, right? It's been a while. It's been a while. That's for sure. Absolutely. So we'll see. I got 8 people in here so far. We'll see how many people want to join up. Hello, Dexter. How are you, sir? Sound good? Everybody can hear me okay? Hopefully the camera looks all right. Yeah, it's rare for me to do a live these days. Figure I'd just do a little quickie, talk to everybody about what I'm thinking of doing with the channel and kind of go from there. Dan O'Neill, how's the mic sounding, Dan? What's up, Pete? Let's see. Everybody hear me? Just lost my cat. Uh-oh. No info on that. Sorry. I kind of have gone into, not much real gun stuff lately. It's not really becoming my main thing, so. All right, thank you, Dexter. I appreciate it. Still have my RXM grip. Love that thing. That's not going anywhere. And just so you know, I'm looking up, even though my camera is right here. I'm looking up because I got my screen behind there and I can read comments and everything. So, all right, 9 people in, 3 thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up, everybody. There's 9 of you in here. Give us some thumbs up. Give us some love. What's up, Looney Tune? And then once, give it about another 2 minutes and we'll start just randomly talking about stuff. Some things that are happening. Obviously, today, another crazy event. It's kind of crazy what's going on. We'll talk a little bit about the impending doom because it looks like, we're going to get taken over by aliens here, thanks to 3i Atlas. So we'll see how that is. And it's funny, like I'm doing this live stream directly through YouTube. Normally I'll use like a third party software. So I'm not exactly sure how this is even going to look. I'm not sure if, I'm not sure. So it might look great, might look like shit. Who knows? No problem. All right. Appreciate it. Yeah. So, I mean, there's just a couple of things I want to talk about today. And, obviously some more crazy stuff's going on. You got that Church of Latter-day Saints that was attacked today by what apparently was a veteran, which is kind of, I mean, should we be surprised? Is that, what are you guys' thoughts on that? I mean, is it surprising that we have veterans attacking churches? Is it surprising that, you know, really this person isn't like a lefty lunatic? I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's, I think it's safe to say that both sides have problems. And if you hear squeaking in the back, that is the puppy playing with her toy. That dog has more energy than of any dog I've ever owned. I love her, but you know how it is with pups. How do I like my Type B? I love it. It's a great gun. It does everything it needs to do. Still haven't really been able to find a good holster for it, and it's not really a carry gun for me anyway. Um, but it's a good gun. I do like it. Like it a lot. So we're up to 5 thumbs up. Let's get to 12 since there's 12 people in this chat. All you got to do is click on thumbs up. That way we can, become very popular, because that's a big goal of mine on YouTube, is to be so popular. I want to be one of the popular guys. That's not true. So anyway, let's get this show on the road, right? Because I don't want to stay on here too long and waste all of your times. But one of the things that obviously I wanted to do a live chat. I mean, I made a video not too long ago on the Jimmy Kimmel situation. Kind of talked about doing I think a needed pivot in the channel. And to be honest with you, I think I'm still going to be going that route. I mean, maybe at some point do some gun reviews, if we have that availability to do so. But I'd like to try to do some things based on, I think more interesting things that are happening currently. And it doesn't necessarily have to be political. It could be anything, I mean, there's a lot of things to be looking at right now. Obviously we can talk about, Pete Hegseth going and calling in 800 of the military's top brass in some sort of meeting. So who knows what that's going to be about? Who knows if that's just to go to war, or if it's just them, kind of getting together and telling them what's what. I mean, who knows? None of us are going to be privy to that anyway. And then, of course, you have, NATO that's on high alert because of Russia. You have, the Chinese that are doing what they do, and that's kind of ramping up, production of their military. Then you have, what else? Then you have the situation that happened today in Michigan. Just seems like a lot of crazy stuff still, and it's kind of crazy that we watch TV and this stuff is coming to us live, and I don't know, it kind of makes you wonder where we're headed with all of this craziness, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. So let's see. And like I said, if you guys don't mind, thank you very much for the 9 thumbs up. Appreciate it. So see if we can get them all in here. Yeah, and Dexter's saying everything is happening all over the country. It seems to be. I mean, yeah, I agree. It's, crazy enough. Well, I haven't really seen anything. Well, aside from New York City and all the crime that's already there anyway, it seems like these are happening in odd places, right? Like, if you go back to the Charlie Kirk situation that happened in Utah, and should have been a more friendly area to Charlie Kirk and his conservative values. Then you talk about, Charlotte, which is, I mean, it's kind of digressing into a pit of liberalism, and I think that's a problem. Then you talk about, what happened in Michigan, and depending on where you are in Michigan, right? But to now hit a church, I mean, it seems like nothing is off limits. And I think immediately when I saw what was going on, I was like, geez, I want to see who did this and see if this is going to be, somebody who was of a certain ilk or political, party. And it turns out to be maybe not that at all. But again, they haven't really said much about this guy who did the shooting. So we'll see. Oh, can I say that live? Oh my God, I might get taken off the air here. So who knows? Who knows how this is going to play out? And then, of course, I don't know if you guys have been watching anything on that what is it? The meteor or asteroid? No, it's a meteor. Or comet. It's a comet. That 3I Atlas. That's kind of got me a little interested. I find that to be kind of interesting, because you'd like to believe that at some point, we might see alien life. I don't know exactly why they would want to come here, to be honest with you. I mean, it seems like things are, not so stable here, I guess. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what this thing is. I've been reading and watching a lot of videos. The problem is, and this is one thing that I'm starting to hate about YouTube, is everything is AI, man. All this AI crap. What's up, Scott? And I think you watch these AI videos and they're all the same. They're just the same, like, speaker. And it's kind of frustrating, because I don't really particularly care for the AI video stuff, but that seems to be the big trend now on YouTube. I guess people have gotten so lazy they don't even want to make their own videos. So that's kind of disturbing. Yep, I heard about the Southport, North Carolina shooting as well. You know, they were on a boat and somebody just opened fire, and I believe he was a veteran as well. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, things are like getting crazy. Oh, sweet. What's up, RTT? Yeah, I haven't done much to be honest with you. I haven't really been doing anything. Kind of stopped doing it. I think for me the biggest reason why I stopped was, and you know, again, I'm not trying to insult anybody or start any beefs or anything, but I just got so I think so disgusted with, you know, the major gun channels on YouTube. I mean, I would say that, you know, a minor gun channel like mine, you know, we'd like to call ourselves a gun community, but I just thought it was really disturbing how, you know, some of these events happened and nobody said anything. It was like, the crazy part was they stopped making videos for like a week, and then all of a sudden they came back. And I mean, nowhere in between that time frame could anybody say anything. Could anybody take a stand and say anything? Um, I just got so like disgusted with it that I said, you know, I think I'm just kind of done. I think I'm done with gun reviews. And it's not like, you know, it's not like I have any, you know, power to do much, but I mean, some of these guys have millions of subscribers or hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I mean, you think somebody would have said something to take a stand to say this isn't right, and you know, here's why. You know, and it seemed like a lot of the play was going to people who are like not right in the head when you're celebrating the murder of a person. Whether you believe in the politics or not is irrelevant to me. Rich B is saying it's one of his favorite restaurants. Well, good thing you weren't there. Huh, interesting. Herrera made one video, was good. I didn't watch him. Not a fan of his. um, I mean, I looked at the guy like a lot of the people that I would watch. So it wasn't everybody. Obviously, I don't. I mean, there's no way to watch every YouTuber out there. Yeah, and then RTT is saying he got gun guys mad at him and unsubscribed. Let him unsubscribe. I mean, I don't know what you could possibly get mad at. I mean, you know, to me, I would say to you, like, what are you getting mad at? I mean, you know, you had a guy who was murdered, and like I said, I mean, if people want to make it a political thing and talk politics, you can do that. If you want to talk religion, you can do that too. But I think the thing that people forgot was that you're allowed to have those opinions. You're allowed to be able to say what you want to say. And I think for me, the biggest thing was watching some of these, you know, these professional gun tubers, right, who are making money. I mean, lots of money. Let's not bullshit each other. And you know, it was almost like it was a business decision to not do it. And then, you know, what they've done in the past, though, if you look at some of their videos, at least their political videos, you know, they always want to talk about this thing or that thing and talk about how, you know, all of our rights are being infringed upon. But then when something like this happens, they just were silent. And to me, that said a lot. That said everything. I didn't need to hear anything else, you know, at that point. Yeah. And like I said, some of the bigger ones I'm not subscribed to, like Mr. Guns and Gear, I'm not really subscribed to him. Um, you know, I just think the ones that I saw, the ones that I pay attention to, there was zero. And I think what was most infuriating was they kind of just vanished for a week and a few days, and then next thing you know, they're popping out their next video, which is on you know, another product that they're trying to, you know, shill to you guys. Didn't get a notification. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I was reading something. I guess YouTube got in trouble for canceling channels, and now they're being slowly brought back. Which who the hell knows if that's even true? I'm sure it's not, but I'm not sure. I mean, nobody canceled my channel. I don't. I just don't think anybody watches it. So, but yeah, I mean, if you guys don't mind, just give us a thumbs up. We're at 17 people in the room, 11 thumbs up. Let's try to make it full 17. It doesn't take much to just click on that thumbs up. So yeah, so I made that one video about Jimmy Kimmel too, which because that kind of irritated me as well. I mean, I still don't think what he said was so horrible, but at the same time, in poor taste at the time, you know. But how quickly, all these people who were speaking out against him, how quickly everybody caved in, you know, the the networks and everything. It's amazing, it really is. Yeah, Scott saying they were blacklisting channels that people who are in charge didn't agree with. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know. Like things are changing. I think it's getting weird, to say the least. Um, I think for me as a gun owner, I think it has to. I have to say to all of you, like it's more important now more than ever to really kind of support that idea of gun ownership. I just think that there's no safe place. I really don't. I don't believe it anymore. I think it's hard to not feel like you have to watch over your back. And obviously it depends where you live and what part of the country and what kind of gun laws there are. But I know that here obviously a very restricted state, but it just seems like things aren't getting any better. Right now, even in New York City, we have Mamdani who's running for mayor. We have Adams who just withdrew from the mayoral race. So now it's Mamdani versus Cuomo, which I mean, you know, you got basically a socialist slash hardline communist and a guy who shut everything down in COVID times in New York State. So, I mean, this is the best that we've got. We've got those the best. I'll tell you, we produce the best here. Nothing but the best and brightest. So so yeah, that's kind of crazy. And to be honest with you, I think for the gun thing on YouTube, it's unless you're getting like funneled stuff to you, it's very hard to keep up the channels. It's a very expensive thing, and then more importantly, it's it's hard to achieve anything when you want to do something truthful. I think that's the way I look at YouTube now. Like I don't really think of it as an open opportunity to express anything unless it meets a certain, you know, ideology. And and I think you're seeing that a lot. I mean, I'll give you a great example, right? So I've been looking at the CZP-10C ported, right? And in my head, I'm saying to myself, why do I really even need this gun or want this gun or what is the interesting thing about the gun? And I know that all of the experts out there, who make their videos, all, ironically on the same day. It's really weird. But they all made their videos saying, "Oh my gosh, you've got to go and get this gun, guys. It's the best gun ever. This is the best P10C ever." And I got to laugh because, first off, when the CZP-10C came out, there were some irregularities in the gun. People were having some problems with it. I had a problem with one of mine. But then, they seemed to iron out those wrinkles. And then, a lot of people were saying, well, we need a P10C with an optic cut. And then the optic cut came out, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, this is the best P10C in the world. Oh my gosh, they finally did it with the optic cut, blah, 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 blah. And then you just see the patterns in the gun world change. Everything had to be had to have a red dot or red dot capable in order to be a valuable firearm, even though like 2 years prior to that, you didn't even need it or want it because, well, they didn't even make them. And then, of course, fast forward now and everything's either ported or comped. As, Scott is saying, it's like everything has to be ported or comped in order to be a gun that's valuable or worthwhile for all of you. But the one thing that nobody tells you is that when they're, basically showing you this stuff, the majority of them don't even pay for it. The majority of them are getting it handed to them. And so it's like anything else. Like I just think that, with YouTube, everything has become such a farce. It's so phony. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Like it's a nice looking gun, crown barrel. It's got a heavier barrel. It's got the chunk port. I'm sure it's great. But at the end of the day, like if you have a P10C, do you need one with a port? And I would say probably not. But again, it's all about marketing and it's all about pressure, and it's kind of crazy. Like we like to think ourselves as people who are like resilient against those influences of marketing, but to be honest with you, I don't think we are. I don't think the gun community could be. Let's see. RTT saying, not that they're bad pistols, but I've never shot a P10C and thought to myself that I needed to buy one. And that's fine too. I mean, I've shot them, I've owned them. I think they're really good guns. I think it's a better striker fired polymer handgun. I would say that in my opinion, knowing that I've shot these guns, a lot of people make the PDP out to be this amazing firearm. It's got a great trigger, monolithic slide if you're into that, but I just think the P10C is better than PDP. I just do. I think ergonomically it's good, trigger's good, bore access is good, and everything about it, fit and finish seems to be good. And it's probably maybe $200 cheaper. And obviously, if you get an older model that's not necessarily optic ready, if you want to do that, you're talking probably $400 or $500 cheaper. And that's just that one. I mean, you look at some of the other ones, like, for example, another great example, excuse me, the Canik Prime. Everybody's saying, oh, you got to get a Canik Prime. Well, why? I got the MC9 LS. I love that gun. The gun's freaking great. Shoots flat, great point of aim and point of hit. I mean, I don't know why I would want to, the Canik Prime. I don't really know why. Oh God, it's got ports. It's got ports, guys. Did you hear me? It's got ports. So you've got to get it. Even though the MC9 LS, in my opinion, is as good without ports. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, look, I've gotten guns from places and I've made truthful videos on them, and they never seem to call me back or called me back. I mean, I've made videos for Core Essentials, but I love their stuff. I mean, I will never tell you to buy it if it's a piece of shit. So I understand that part of it, but I will be honest with you. That might be you, but I guarantee the majority of these guys who are pushing this kind of product constantly, there's no way they're being honest. There's no way. And some of them might be, right? We can't say everybody and always, but I most certainly would say the majority of them are not being really straightforward. And to be honest with you, I think the only way you can really tell is if they give an opinion. If they're just running through the specs of the gun and they're talking about the shooting experience, but at the end of that video, they don't really disclose an opinion, a professional opinion, like an unbiased observation of the firearm that they just shot, then you already know that this isn't worthwhile. You already know it's not a review. You know it's actually nothing. You think it's just basically an advertisement. And then it says, why buy a Turkish gun? When, Scott saying, why buy a Turkish gun when you can get a P99 final edition, the kind of collectible for the same money, and the original trigger system, which is very interesting. So I had a P99 AS. I know when Walther released this limited run, or the final run, I guess you could say, the prices were ridiculous. People were running them up $800,000, $900,000 for a P99. And the trigger system's good. The AS trigger, the anti-stress trigger, is pretty interesting trigger system. The single action on it is by far leaps and bounds better than just about anything Walther has ever produced. You have the ability to decock it. I mean, all these really cool things. I did see one of them actually on a website that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And it was at, I think, $400+. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, how it lost its value so fast. And it was brand new. So it was really nice. I mean, I love the P99. That was one of my favorite Walthers. That was actually the first Walther I ever bought. That one, and then the PPQs that I bought. Yeah, I mean, I'd say the one company that just hated my guts was Springfield Armory, man, because they sent me the Mod 2. I forget what it was. The XDS, the second generation XDS. That's what it was. And it was a decent gun. The trigger was awful, and I talked about the trigger, and I talked about I didn't like the safety. And you thought I would have spit on their baby because I never heard from them again. So it's all good, whatever. And I've always said I don't care, right? Whatever, But I will tell you, like, my channel, I think there were certain opportunities I should have taken advantage of that I never did. And I think that's why, like, now I look back and I say, certain, decisions that I've made probably could have been better in regards to managing the channel. And I think that's something, if anybody gets into this and they're new to it, I think you have to look at it from a perspective of which way do you want to go with it, right? Is it a hobby thing? Is it a professional business thing? Because I think that's going to dictate the life of your channel, right? I mean, if you go into like kind of a professional thing and a business thing, then you're going to look at it as, well, look, I'm going to be an advertiser. I'm not going to be a reviewer. And I don't disagree with that. Like, I don't have a problem with any gun channel that wants to do that, only because if it's disclosed that, look, I'm not giving you an unbiased review. Um I'm giving you an observation and an advertisement. Like, I would rather hear somebody tell me that than sit here and tell me, oh, hey, I'm going to review this gun for you, and I'm going to tell you all the nooks and crannies about it, what's good, what's bad. And then at the end of the day, they don't really disclose anything bad. They just say, well, this is really great. And if I had to change something, maybe I would change the stippling on the grip, but there's nothing really of major consequence that they say. And so that's why I said, like, for me, my channel, I mean, could I have done that? Sure. But I never looked at it as a business. I never looked at it as a profession. I looked at it as a sort of a hobby. And if I made a couple $100 here and there, great. So maybe that wasn't necessarily the best thing to do. P99s are down to like 550s. If you look around, you can probably find one cheaper. Yep, I agree. I mean, it's just, there are some good things about that gun. I mean, I would always say, like, it's such a different gun. And I think that's why it would be an intriguing buy for somebody. But if you're looking for something that's standard with everything that you're used to in modern society, so to speak, then P99 is going to be it. But I'll tell you, man, once you rack the slide, put one in the chamber, and then you pull that trigger back so that it's the pre-cocked or it's the cocked position, that single action is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And the reset on the trigger is also phenomenal. So it's a very good gun. Very good gun. And Disastrous Effect, the same. My only Walther is a WMP. I love it, but it's just a plinker. Nothing wrong with that. I actually shot one of those. Some guy I was shooting next to, he had one at the range. The thing was like a fireball, man. It was shooting out fire. And so it was a pretty loud little sucker, but it was kind of a cool gun. So got to shoot that. It was fun. It was what to be expected out of a plinking kind of gun. But still, it was nice. They did a nice job with that. Why, hello, the Armsman. How you doing, sir? I actually sold off my Glock 21 SF and replaced it with a Glock 41. Basically, traded the standard for the long slide. That's cool. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of selling lately. I won't even tell you what's left because you guys might be like, this guy went crazy. But yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, I'm kind of rethinking things. What are priorities? Why go the best and the newest all the time? It's kind of stupid. So let me ask you this, RTT. You're talking about the Prime. Did you shoot any of them? Any of the MC9s at all? Not the little one, the first one that came out, but like the L. What is it? I think MC9L and then in the LS. But I would definitely ask if you did any of those before you go with the Prime. Like, everybody talks about the Prime trigger being so great, and it might be. I think you could probably buy the trigger aftermarket and put it in the MC9 LS. Me personally, I carry my MC9 LS a lot and I love it. I think it's just a really good shooting firearm. I mean, maybe the Prime shoots much better, but I don't even know how that's possible, because when I shoot the MC9 LS, man, that thing it's like a laser beam, man. It just hits everything, point, aim, shoot. I mean, you don't need an optic on it. That's how easy of a shot it is. So, and yes, I have sold things to thin the herd. But I would say this herd might be anorexic right now. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the Prime right now is going like 550s. MC9L and the LS probably anywhere from like the high threes to mid 400s. So if you want to save yourself some money, if you don't want to get the Prime, I recommend the MC9Ls. I love that gun. Yeah, and I think Scott's right on that. They don't hold their value often. So if you just wait it out, you can always find them cheap. I mean, Jesus, you could even look at what is it? The TTI, Terran Tactical. Is that what it is? TTI? And like there are some that are showing up for like sixes right now, which is crazy. I mean, even I even saw a steel what was it? I forget what they're called, gosh. But the steel version of the I can't remember. Shit. I forget it. You guys know. Leave the comments. But I saw a steel one going for like five to sixes, which is crazy. It's crazy to me. But again, like I would rather do that than buy a Walther. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I just think you know, literally, it's a great gun. I don't think anything wrong with Canik at all. I was going to say he goes between the Prime and the CR920 XP. Testing the Shield X reliability currently to move towards it. I'm not so sure about that Shield X. I'll be honest with you. I don't. I mean, to me, I think the Performance Center Shield Carry Comp was a great firearm. To me, the Shield X doesn't really do much for me. It doesn't really move the bar that much. I mean, ergonomically it looks cool. The grip looks cool. The slide serrations look cool. But I mean, I just think the carry comp was amazing. I think it's a great gun. I do. Fantastic gun. So maybe by the next couple of weeks, we'll get invaded by aliens from space. You know, I don't know how we would handle that necessarily. Maybe that's why they're calling all those generals to meet with Pete Hegseth. Who knows? Maybe it's that, or it's Venezuela, or Russia, or who the hell knows. So it would be interesting, that's for sure. Hmm. Hmm. You know what? I was looking at the SAR, the Gen 3 SAR compact. Those are pretty nice looking firearms. But interestingly enough, the price that they're commanding right now, I just don't see. I wouldn't see why I would buy that. But there's a lot of guns that I don't particularly see buying anymore. I mean, it's just, like for example, I think the new HK VP9K, I really like that gun. Although it's really basically just an HK, but I like the compact size of it. The size to me is perfect. The trigger feels much improved in my opinion, but again, you're looking at $700. I wouldn't do that for that gun. Disastrous effect, yeah, man. Read up some stuff on that 3i Atlas. It's a comet from interstellar space. But yeah, I mean, like if I was going to buy HK, I would try to find something like, for example, P2000s are no longer going to be made, so I would try to scoop one of those up. I just think I like the P2000. I don't have any issues with it. So, I'd get the green one. I want to get a green P2000. That's on my list. That's on my list. Maybe in a couple of years, but we'll see. Scott saying he bought a SAR. That's a K2. Got to polish everything. That's too bad. I mean, I would suspect that's probably going to be the problem with a gun like that. But now obviously it's SAR USA, whatever that means. I mean, I'm sure it's just being distributed from us. But I'd be interested to see like if people are kind of moving away from the Canic line and going into more SAR. Um, because they look nice. I mean, ergonomically, they look good. It looks like they're feature rich, which is kind of cool. So, I mean, for me, I think it's kind of, I'm going to look up that one that you're talking about. What was that called? K2. I don't know what that is. I'm going to look at it. Oh, okay. Interesting. That's an interesting looking firearm. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah, USP Tactical. And basically, what is the P2000? It was like the evolutionary step next to the P30, right? So you went USP, P2000, P30, which I had a P30. I wasn't really, it was okay. A lot of people always hype that gun up as, oh my god, the P30s are amazing. I didn't really find that. I had a P30 compact, and it was like meh. But interestingly enough, like HK always touts itself as like being the gun for the elites. I don't know, man. I've never really had this weird obsession with HK firearms. I like the P2000. I had one many many moons ago, and then I had another one. Um, I think that might have been like the third firearm I ever bought was a P2000 and a 40, and it was the LEM trigger. It was not the heavy version, so it must have been. I think it was version one LEM, and that trigger I loved it. It was such a nice trigger. But yeah, Scott saying everyone always hyped up HK. Yeah, and like what is that? I forget what the name of that other one was. What is this? Shit, what is it called? I want to say it's the CCP. No, is that what it is? Is that the new little baby HK they came out with? It's funny you say that, Scott. I had the same problem. I shot the P30, and I mean, I don't think I could have hit a school bus with, or I shouldn't say that. I don't think I could hit the side of a friggin' cruise ship with it because of I just wasn't accurate. I don't know what it was, whether it was trigger me. It was probably me, but I wasn't a real fan of it. I mean, FN, I don't think is terrible. I think their prices suck. I think they're ridiculously too high, and I think HK is too high. I mean, to be honest with you, you know, like I was doing the side by side, right? So I did a side by side with the HK VP9K. I did the PDP, which was I want to say it was PDP-F, and it had the Pro trigger in there. And then I also did it with a P10C. And so I just wanted, like, ergonomically, they were all great, right? The one thing that's a little deceiving about the H&K or HK is that a lot of people say it sits low in the hand. If you really look at the profile from the rear of your hand at the HK, it actually sits pretty high. It's not a super low gun. And interestingly enough, the way the beaver tail comes out, if you can even call it that, it's just a little bit too wide for my knuckle. And I've got some pretty big hands, but for some reason it never felt like it was situated right. It always felt like the gun wanted to sit a little bit more to this side of my hand, which I'd never really liked that. And then the PDP, again, ergonomically really nice, but the size of that slide, I hate that gun. I love the gun and I hate it at the same time. And same thing, the beaver tail is so thick, so blocky that you really, really kind of have to adjust your hand a little bit in order to get a really good contact with it. At least that's what my impressions were. And then of course the P10Cs, guys. I mean, it's just ergonomically it's good, the trigger's good, and it's thin. It's not a thick gun, so you don't have a lot of those issues, that I was describing with the other two. And if you don't believe me, try it out. Go to a gun store, put them all in your hands, and see which one actually fits kind of that meaty part of your hand a little bit better, and see if it's what it is. Oh, I'm losing my focus here. And if you're not convinced by that, just go buy a Steyr. Go buy the M9A2 before they're gone, because those are discontinued now, which kind of pisses me off because I saw the new pistols that Steyr was releasing, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, look at these guys! What are you looking at? They're Arexes. It's the same company." Yeah, so I believe I can't remember if it was Steyr. I think Steyr bought Arex. I think they bought them out. I think that's what it was. And so all the old Arex pistols are now becoming Steyr pistols, just with the rebranding and everything. So it's kind of bullshit. And it kind of makes me mad because they got rid of the M9A2 and now they're basically just realigning it with Arex pistols. And I mean, they're not that, they're not, in my opinion, those guns are decent, nice, but nothing to write home about. So that would suck. Yeah, and it's funny. I was looking at SIGs too, and they're coming down. Those prices are hitting bottom, man. I mean, their AXG is going for like $500 right now. I remember when those things were over 1,000. Yeah, I mean, I agree. If Walther would have thinned out the slide, made it a little bit more streamlined, but also even that back of that grip. But I think because the slide is so thick that they didn't have a choice. They had to make the polymer as thick as that slide. And I think that's what some people, I mean, like I said, if that gun had more of a rounded feel to it, I'd be all over that gun, but it just doesn't do anything for me. Oh, that's right. Okay. So Arex bought Steyr, surprisingly, which, is crazy to me. I mean, I still think the M9A2, it's absolutely one of the best firearms ever created. And I don't care what anybody says. That's just my opinion. Yeah, I know. The 320s are just talk about losing value. I mean, it's insane. Some of them used to go for like well over 1,000, and now they're going for I mean, probably pennies on the dollar, which is crazy. But listen, they did it to themselves. All right, so we're probably gonna cut out here in a few minutes. If anybody wants to say anything or ask questions, feel free to do so. But I did see the other day the RXM now is in all FDE, which is kind of cool. If you're a freak like me when it comes to FDE or OD green, I mean that's a win right there, man. RXM by far is probably the best dollar for dollar clone that's out there. The chassis, the everything. It's just a great firearm. You're welcome, Armsman. I own a holster from you because you sent it to me. By the way, if any of you have a Steyr M9A2, I believe the Armsman might be the only person who makes these holsters for this gun. And I much appreciated that because, without it, I wouldn't be able to carry that firearm. Right, and I think the Ross Martin is basically their Arex. I forget the name of that pistol they made, but pretty much that's what it is. The same gun. And I haven't looked at Ross Martin. Like I don't find any interest in that firearm at all. I mean, I just think there's, what is that gun really going to do for me? And honestly, the price isn't that great. Yeah, the Icarus module with the RXM. I have the like the kind of like the RXM X, and it's phenomenal. I love that gun. But I need to know, Armsman, do you have a holster for it? That's the only thing that stops me from carrying that damn gun is I don't have a holster. I don't have a damn holster for it. So no gun reviews coming up anytime soon. I think I'm going to drop a video this week. I'm not sure what I want to talk about. I might just be talking about headlines that we're seeing and making general assumptions and questions and seeing where everybody's at with your ideas. I think it would be interesting to see if people buy into the channel now. Just to see what people thoughts are. I mean, maybe we'll do some live streams if anybody's interested in coming on and having a conversation. Just shoot me an email or hit me up on the chat or whatever. Obviously, I'm not looking for fights. I'm not looking for insults. I'm looking for discussion. That's it. I'm not looking for anything else. I'm tired of people arguing and trying to prove their points and not really giving anybody else the other stuff. Oh, there you go. Armsman finally got his grip modules. Nice. Finally. Well, listen, you could always send me something anytime you want. So the RXM one is definitely a must. And as some of you guys are saying, there's really not anything out there. I mean, I think the biggest thing is like anything that's coming out right now has ports or comped or it's like a $1,000 firearm. It's like I just think things are spiraled so much that like I'll give you a great example. You saw people they were doing reviews on the what the hell was it? It was the Kimber 2011, and it was like of course all the reviews came out on the same day, and they all said the same shit. And the one thing they didn't say is that the damn gun's like $2,500 or whatever it is. I think it's almost like $2,000. And then I have to say, I had to laugh because I'm sitting here saying to myself, I mean, unless I'm doing things wrong, which could be a possibility, how many people just have, $2,000 to just burn on a gun? And I just think it's incredible. I just think we've lost focus on why people get involved in firearms, and all we care about is the fact that we want to push and push more product that most people don't want to buy or can't afford. I just think it's crazy, just crazy. Yeah, I just think things are getting crazy. I think the prices of things are getting crazy. I mean, it's like, you can find decent buys on guns, but you can't get caught up in the hype. Don't get caught on the hype of saying, "Oh my god, I have to have this gun or that gun, and if I don't have this gun, then I'm going to lose my value and as a person or whatever." I mean, it's just stupid, just so stupid. Yeah, and you're right. It's all the same garbage. It's all the same shit over and over and over again. Same guns. Yeah, suppressors are going to be lower. Obviously, no more tax stamp as far as I know. Right? I think that was passed. But at the same time, I mean, it doesn't apply to some people living in certain areas like myself. So that doesn't really help us. But at the same time, it's cool that you guys get it. Good for you. But is that going to be the next thing? Now we went from everything had to be optic capable, then everything had to have hole in the barrel or hole in the slide. Now is the next thing going to be everything has to be silenced? Like, I just think it's crazy. We'll see if that's going to be the new trend, the new silenced firearm. Yep, and you said it right, Scott. As soon as that tax stamp is gone, everybody will buy it, and every gun tuber will be out there talking about this suppressor and that suppressor. And if you guys have any value as a gun owner, you need to get a suppressor. So I can't wait. Yeah, I haven't been disastrous. So unfortunately, kids, wife, those types of things, those take precedence over buying firearms sometimes. But if you got it, burn it. That's what I say. All right, everybody. So that was a lot of fun. It's fun to talk to everybody. 18 thumbs up. Appreciate it. Anytime you guys, want to help out the channel, best way to do that is just kind of share the videos and get some more people watching this stuff. Um, I guess that's what I have to say. So hopefully the video will come out. We'll talk a little bit more. And then, like I said, if anybody wants to maybe, do a live stream one night and talk, and we can do that too. I don't care what your beliefs are. Just want to talk and see where you're at with things. So I hope you guys have a great night. We're going to shut down the chat. I got to find out where that is right there. Appreciate it, man. Glad to see you guys back. We'll be back. We'll be back. So everybody stay safe out there, man. And if you have a firearm, carry it with you. Okay. Don't leave it at your house. Don't put it in your car. Put it on your body. Make sure you have it. And you know what? If you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a firearm, that's fine. Spend hundreds of dollars on ammunition. Go to the range and shoot everything and anything you can at that range. That way, at least you're semi-proficient in case, something, God forbid, happens. So appreciate everybody. Thanks to everybody showing up tonight. And we'll see you next time. Bye.